A subtext reveals 15 years prior, a scientific experiment gone wrong gave rise to a species of intelligent apes, while most of the human population succumbed to a deadly virus called the simian flu. The apes, led by Caesar, struggled to coexist with the remaining humans, but a rebel ape, Koba, ambushed the humans in a deadly war. Several soldiers slowly approach an ape outpost. The soldiers have help from other apes referred to as donkeys, and one of them is called Red. The soldiers ambush several apes, taking guard, and start firing at the rest of the apes. The soldiers have the upper hand for a while, but the tide turns when the other apes, led by Caesar, ferociously defend themselves. The apes soon outnumber the soldiers, vastly defeating them and holding a few humans and Red hostage. The hostages are brought to Caesar, and he explains that he had executed Koba for his rebellion. Caesar decides to release the survivors to their colonel, hoping the gesture will show his desire for peace. He has his right-hand man, an albino ape called Winter, hold Red somewhere else in custody, but Red escapes after injuring Winter. Later, Caesar's eldest son, Blue Eyes, and his friend Rocket return from a scouting trip. Blue Eyes explains that they found an oasis in the middle of a vast desert and suggests that the ape community should go there. The desert will dissuade humans from following them. Winter wants to leave immediately as he's tired of seeing his comrades perish to the humans. Unfortunately, Caesar knows it's challenging to travel discreetly with a large group, so he has the apes settle down while he looks for an alternative. That night, Caesar sees green lights flashing on the waterfall near his hideout. He wakes Blue Eyes and asks him to protect his mother while he goes to investigate. He quickly realizes that the human colonel and his troops have breached the area. He asks Winter to get as many apes as possible while he sneak attacks the approaching humans. Unfortunately, the approaching humans are just a distraction, so Caesar rushes back to his sleeping den and finds the colonel latching on a rope about to leave. Caesar and the colonel lock eyes as the former realizes his son and wife have been brutally murdered. The colonel opens fire on Caesar, but he dodges the bullet and then jumps on the colonel's rope. After shooting Caesar and missing a few times, the colonel cuts the rope and Caesar falls into the river below. He can only watch in pain and anger as the colonel escapes. The following day, Caesar says goodbye to the tribe as they begin their way to the oasis. He intends on staying behind as he knows that the soldiers will come after him. Rocket, Maurice, and Luca join Caesar in his quest to find the colonel. The group finds an abandoned shelter and investigates it, coming across a lone paramilitary soldier. When he draws his weapon, they execute him. The apes find the soldier's mute daughter, who Maurice befriends by giving her a rag doll. The group continues on their quest, with Maurice taking the mute girl as he can't leave her to die alone. Soon, they find a human outpost and spot Winter. Caesar and the others apprehend him, and he apologizes for betraying Caesar by revealing his whereabouts to the colonel. Winter explains that the colonel has gone to meet other soldiers from the north, and a fierce battle will emerge as the soldiers seek to eliminate all the apes. Winter asks forgiveness, but Caesar strangles him for his part in his family's slaughter. The group seeks shelter for the night but discovers that the soldiers are leaving the following morning. Caesar and his team follow the soldiers and witness several paramilitary soldiers being executed. After the other soldiers leave, Caesar and his team look for survivors. They find one soldier who is mute like Maurice's girl. The apes mercy kill him and proceed on their journey. The apes climb an electrical structure to map the area, but someone steals their horse. Caesar and his team start chasing the thief. They get to the thief's hideout and he surrenders. They're surprised to see that it's another ape. He introduces himself as Bad Ape and used to reside in the zoo. Bad Ape shares some treats with his new friends while sharing his experiences. Caesar realizes that the treats are from the border where Winter had claimed the colonel's soldiers were headed. He asks Bad Ape to take them there, and after a fierce debate, the latter agrees, although he warns them that the place is unsafe. The team finds the border where the humans held a quarantine facility to curb the simian flu. While looking around, several soldiers ambush the group and severely wound Luca. The other apes kill the soldiers and say their sorrowful goodbyes to Luca. After his death, Maurice wants the group to join the rest of the tribe to avoid more loss. However, Caesar wants to get his revenge. Maurice warns him that he's behaving like Koba, causing Caesar to ask the other two apes to join the tribe while he struts to the facility. Caesar is horrified to find several of his tribesmen hanging on poles dead. The last remaining ape explains that the tribe had been ambushed and brought to the border by the colonel. Here, they are subjected to hard labor building a wall. Suddenly, Red ambushes Caesar and knocks him out. Caesar finds himself bound with the colonel looking at him. He mocks him and then takes him to where the other apes are. Caesar is devastated to see all the tribesmen, including his child, held captive in weakened states. He's thrown in a cage, but the other apes shun him, and Caesar regrets that his anger blinded him. The following morning, the apes are taken to work under heavy guard. After standing up for an ape being flogged by Red for causing an accident, the apes finally recognize Caesar as their leader. They stop working and start chanting war hymns. The colonel has Caesar brought to him. Red flogs him, but this fuels the apes, so the colonel executes the other ape and threatens to eliminate Caesar if the apes don't keep working. The apes, led by Caesar's last-born son Cornelius, start working. Caesar is brought to the colonel, and he deduces that the wall is to keep the northern militia out. The colonel explains that a while back he had sent out a scouting team including his son. However, the team quickly became mute, and investigation revealed that the simian flu virus in humans was devolving humans into primitive animals. After executing his son and the other team members to contain the spread, the colonel was reprimanded by his superiors, who believed that a cure could be found scientifically. However, the colonel kept killing mute soldiers, causing some of them to flee into the woods. A messenger was sent to warn the colonel of his actions, but he went rogue and dared the North to seek him out. In a few days, soldiers from the North will come, and the colonel wants the apes to form the first line of defense. The colonel has Caesar tied on an inverted cross to warn the apes against rebelling. He's denied food, and he suffers due to the chilling cold. The mute girl, named Nova by Maurice, sneaks into the camp and gives Caesar food. Rocket realizes that the soldiers will spot Nova, so he causes a stir, allowing her to escape. The colonel has Rocket arrested and sees Nova's doll by Caesar. He takes the doll and locks Caesar in a cell, believing he will have perished by morning. Maurice, Nova, and Bad Ape discover the tunnels used by the mute soldiers to escape. The trio quickly digs a hole in the facility through which Bad Ape prompts Rocket and Caesar into action. Rocket distracts the soldiers and steals the keys to where the kids are being kept. Rocket and Caesar free the children and the other apes through the tunnels. Rocket asks Caesar to join them, but he wants to exact revenge on the man who massacred his family. Suddenly, bombs are thrown at the wall, signaling that the North soldiers have arrived. The colonel's soldiers run to defend themselves while Caesar sneaks into the colonel's chambers. Caesar is about to slaughter the colonel when he realizes that he's mute due to touching Nova's doll. The colonel asks for mercy, but Caesar leaves him, prompting the colonel to take his own life. The colonel's soldiers start shooting at the apes, so Caesar steals some grenades intending to blow up a fuel tank, but he is attacked by one of the soldiers he set free. Red sees how the apes are dying, and he shoots the soldier before he can eliminate Caesar. The other soldier kills Red, but not before Caesar appreciates his sacrifice. Luckily, this allows Caesar to blow up the fuel tank. The apes are devastated to see the explosion as they fear that their leader has perished. The militia runs into the facility just as a vast avalanche forms from the fuel tank explosion. The avalanche kills all the soldiers, but the apes survive by climbing onto trees. The apes begin their journey and reach the oasis Blue Eyes had spoken of. Caesar stands by the edge of the desert and watches his son play with Nova. Maurice suddenly realizes that Caesar has sustained a mortal wound. He promises to sing his praises and tell his son what his father had done for the apes. The two bid farewell, and Caesar succumbs to his wound, having delivered his tribe to the promised land. Do leave a comment telling us your favorite part of the movie. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next recap. Until next time folks, take care and goodbye.